When I read that Chris Pratt was going to be starring in a new series on Amazon based on a series from Jack Carr, who's a former Navy SEAL, that a lot of people have had really good things to say about his book series that started with The Terminal List, I was intrigued. I like Chris Pratt, and he's a good dude, and I like him in movies. I like the movies, and I like the shows that he tends to do. There's almost nothing that I haven't liked Chris Pratt in, even if I didn't necessarily like the movie itself. But I have to be honest about The Terminal List. It blew me away for what I had expected it to be. Jack Carr's novels are now ordered on my Amazon. I went and immediately ordered them, and I want to get into the house and start reading all of them as quick as I can. Because if they're anything like this series, they have to be really freaking good. Now, the critics have something to say about this. They don't like it. They don't like The Terminal List. They don't like that it focuses on the military. They don't like that Chris Pratt is a part of it. They don't like that it's just so dark and gritty. You know, because when you're talking about things like this, the things that are addressed in this show, it might get a little dark at times, but obviously the audiences love it because a lot of people love what Chris Pratt does. And before we even get into any of my other thoughts about this, and it's going to be spoiler free, I'm just going to kind of ramble a bit about it. But one of the things that I loved about this, as a former Navy guy myself, as a veteran, I served 11 years in the United States Navy. I love the fact that Chris Pratt always makes sure to pay respect to people who served in the military at whatever level they served. And especially when it comes to this show, he put out this statement. We offer you something different. This is a series made for the special operator, the veteran, the warrior, and anyone who wants to watch a damn good show. Thank you to the cast, crew, and vets who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this one at Terminal List, now streaming on Prime Video. And it's true. So many of the people involved in this were prior military, were prior special ops guys, were Navy SEALs. They made sure that what was done in this series was exactly what they would do. If they had a scene set up a certain way, if they were telling this story a certain way, it would happen like this. They made sure that all the prior Navy SEALs said, you know what, this is exactly how we would do it. And to me, it comes off incredibly authentic. From the very first episode, I was drawn into this. Because it's a story about a lieutenant commander in the Navy SEALs, James Reese. Something happens on a mission that they have going on overseas. And when he comes home, he's trying to deal with the fallout of that. But not only is he trying to deal with the fallout of that, but there's things that are happening that do not make sense. There's people trying to convince him maybe it's something wrong with him, and he thinks maybe there is something wrong with me. One thing that I love that they dealt with in this show is they address the PTSD that veterans have when they come back from service, when they come back from combat. They addressed the physical health problems, not just the mental problems that people might have, but the physical problems that people may have when they come back. But they also made sure to display and honor the people that have decided to give their lives in service of this country. And I thought it was very, very powerful and well done. Chris Pratt, honestly, in my opinion, gives the best performance he's ever had in this series. I've always liked Chris Pratt, but I said at the beginning, I never thought he was could do anything as an actor. The emotional depth that he portrays in The Terminal List is something I didn't think I would ever see from Chris Pratt. I truly feel for this dude. And when you get all the way to the end, the journey that you go on with James Reese, when it finally does culminate, you feel it in your heart, everything that he's gone through. They use flashback sequences a bit. They use almost dream type sequences in this to really provide you a lot of context to what's going on. But it is a military thriller where something bad has happened and he's trying to figure out who it is. That seems like a thing you've heard done a million times before. I've never really seen it done the way they did The Terminal List. To me, what I imagine this book series is going to feel like is a lot like the Reacher books did. And I'm pretty sure Lee Child has also given a very good review of the Terminal List book series. And it should be pointed out that Jack Carr, former Navy SEAL who wrote these books, who is part of this series, who basically wrote the character to be like Chris Pratt, he was on my good friend John Bartolo's podcast just shortly before he passed away. So hearing him talk about it definitely made me more amped up for this series. I highly recommend anyone checking it out. If you like military thrills, you probably really like this. Even if it's not always your cup of tea, watch the first episode because I think you're going to be dragged in. The first 4 episodes, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. And then they start to explain a lot. And finally, it all culminates in a huge thing in the last episode, and a twist that maybe you might see coming, but maybe you won't. Either way, this is pissing off all the right people because they hate Chris Pratt, they hate the military, and they hate anyone who might be a patriot. I think that this series tells a great, authentic story of a special operator, of a Navy SEAL. And is the story, like the storyline, is that maybe like crazy to think of? Yeah, of course. But in terms of what's going on, I think it's very compelling, very authentic. And it is clear that Chris Pratt took a lot of care in the people that were involved in this, making it authentic and honoring all of the veterans, all the operators, all the SEALs, everybody that made this show possible. And that alone, I think, is enough to just give it a shot if you are thinking about it anyway. Go check out the Terminal List.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.